All right, so today what I have for you all is a top 10 list of freshies that I have here in my collection. Some of these are going to be just like samples of the original fragrances. Some of these are going to be, inspirations of, original fragrances. And then some of them are going to be full bottles of the original. So definitely have a nice kind of wide variety of different fragrances here. And what I'm going to do is, even though this is a top 10 list, I do have an honorable mention that has definitely, it started to become, one of my more favorite fragrances from, this particular house. And this is Louis Vuitton's Meteore. So Meteore, this initially, when I first smelled it, like I wasn't like super crazy about this scent. It seemed like it was just something that was okay. To me, it more so kind of smelled like just a really kind of expensive and rich sort of deodorant. Like that was the best way that I could really describe it. But over time, man, just with wearing this fragrance, it has definitely become one of my more favorite, Louis Vuitton fragrances. So definitely Imagination is my favorite one out of the entire Louis Vuitton collection. But I would say that this is kind of crept up. I would say it's probably beaten out L'Immensité in terms of, my other sort of favorite fragrances within Louis Vuitton's line. I think, it would kind of, for me, be Imagination, then this, then maybe Pacific Chill, and then L'Immensité. But yeah, man, this is very good. When you wear it, it does... It just the dry down of this fragrance is very, very good, man. It comes across as very kind of like tart and citrusy, but yet at the same time really floral and clean. And it's, for me anyway, it's like the perfect fragrance to wear on really warm, hot days. But at the same time, to me, this is still a fragrance that you could also still wear like in the spring or something like that. I probably wouldn't wear this necessarily in the winter time. But in the spring, early fall, this is a really nice fragrance to wear if you really want to smell fresh and clean, man. So definitely for, again, my honorable mention, this is going to go to Louis Vuitton's Meteore. All right, so the next one on the list is from Ex Nihilo, and this is Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman. So I picked this fragrance up to kind of do a side-by-side comparison with Tout Alem's Taj 2. And even though I gotten Taj 2 first and I smelled that fragrance, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a nice fragrance. But I really, really love this. As soon as I got the sample, I was like, yeah, this is definitely something that, I guess depending on how I can actually get my hands on it, whether it be through a trade or somebody just giving like a really good deal on it, this is definitely something that I would want, a full bottle of. It starts off with like this really nice juicy pear, mandarin orange. I believe there's like some other citruses in the top notes of this as well. And then it has a really nice ginger as well that you get that kind of adds like a sort of, fizziness to the fragrance, which, again, if you all know me, you all know that I love ginger in fragrances. And after that, it kind of dries down to, it's like, orange blossom in terms of the florals. I believe there's some other florals in it as well, but orange blossom is the main thing that you get with this. And then it's also kind of woody and musky at the same time from like ambroxan, and I believe there's musk in this as well, maybe even like some actual ambergris. But this is like one of those perfect, summer and springtime scents, in my opinion. Definitely smells very rich, very high quality, really kind of upscale, but at the same time, it is still a fragrance that I would kind of wear casually. Because at least to me, it just smells that good. So like I said, if I can get my hands on a full bottle of this, I absolutely will, because it is a very good fragrance and it does perform pretty good as well. So the longevity on this was, at least 8 hours or so. And the projection was pretty good, at least for like the first hour and a half. So again, man, Blue Talisman, I do think it is kind of worth the hype that it's getting right now. It is a very nice fragrance from Ex Nihilo. And again, this is Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman. All right, so the next one on the list is another one that I just have samples of here, but this is Le Labo's Another 13. So Le Labo's Another 13, this is one of those kind of like, to me, it's like a really expensive, but really versatile and easy to wear sort of dumb reach type of fragrance. You know, this also kind of opens with similar notes to something like Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman. So you do kind of get like this fruity sort of opening, with pear being one of the main notes that you get with this. But then it kind of turns into this sort of fresh, but yet at the same time floral, almost slightly powdery and metallic type of scent. But it's a very easy to wear, kind of fresh and clean, fruity, you know, type of scent. And it is one that I think is very much unisex. And it does lend itself to be worn really at any time for the most part. I don't necessarily know if I would like reach for something like this, like in like the coldest points of winter per se. But I think really for any other time of the year, this would be a fragrance that I could absolutely see myself wearing. I think really the only, you know, limitation when it comes to me getting my hands on this fragrance is just the price that it normally goes for. A full bottle of it, I want to say even at discounters, is normally like around $250 to $270 or so for 100 ml. So, you know, I mean, that's getting kind of up there in terms of price. So, I mean, I have one sample here that I've almost completely gone through. And then I have this one, you know, that I haven't, you know, actually gone through completely. But this is, it's definitely one of my more favorite scents that I've smelled, you know, from Le Labo. So definitely, man, if you're looking for like a really kind of fruity, you know, fresh, almost kind of floral, powdery, and slightly metallic type of scent, then, you know, this is definitely one that you want to look for. And again, this is Le Labo's Another 13. All right, next one on the list is from Giorgio Armani. This is one of my favorite fragrances from Giorgio Armani, and this is Giorgio Armani's Acqua Di Gio Profumo. So this is a discontinued fragrance, especially this, you know, sort of magnetic cap version here. You know, I'm sure you can probably find, you know, bottles of this on eBay or something like that. But at this point, they are probably going to be going for hundreds of dollars. So this fragrance, man, is just it's like a dark, sort of aquatic, fresh, you know, type of scent. So, you know, it does have, you know, the sort of marine, sort of aquatic feeling that you would get from something like the original Acqua Di Gio, you know, scent profile. But then it also has darker elements to it, like patchouli and incense, you know, that make this, you know, a darker type of fragrance, you know, as you can see with like the color scheme that they go for on the bottle here. But this is a very sort of versatile aquatic type of scent, in my opinion as well. So this is definitely a fragrance that's strong enough for you to wear in the wintertime. And it's obviously, it's, you know, light enough for you to wear in the summertime as well. I prefer more so wearing this one in the summertime when it's more, you know, warmer outside. But this does still smell very nice, you know, even in, you know, winter months. I would just more so, if I'm going to wear this in the winter months, it would more so be like in a climate controlled environment and not necessarily when I'm going to be spending most of my time outside. All right. This does give you very good performance, no matter if it's the winter or the summer. I normally get, you know, easily over 8 hours with this fragrance. And then the projection on it is actually very nice for at least about the first probably hour and a half to 2 hours or so, man. So, if you can find this fragrance for like a reasonable price, I definitely recommend it. And again, this is Acqua Di Gio Profumo. So next on the list is from Ahmed Al-Maghribi, and this is Azure Royal. Now I do have this sample here from Meteore fragrance. This is a 10 ml, but I do also have a bottle of this coming in that I recently picked up. This is just a really nice, just fruity, fresh, almost you could say kind of aquatic style fragrance. It is very heavy on like ambroxan and musk. So it is going to be a fragrance that, you know, I think a lot of people can easily go nose blind to, especially if you spray it, you know, more kind of in front of your nose, so like on your chest and stuff like that. I think that you will probably go nose blind to this pretty easily. But it is a very sort of nuclear beast mode performing, you know, fresh, citrusy, fruity type of scent, man. It does also, this is another one of those fragrances that I think it does also open, I think, with pear, like pear, mandarin orange, some other citruses as well, I believe. But I think pear is like one of the main notes that you smell from this. And when it comes to pear, man, I really do love fragrances that have opening notes of pear. It just really kind of draws me into the fragrance, at least, you know, with me, especially with me liking more kind of, you know, citrusy, you know, sort of fruity or fresh style scents. You know, that note definitely is, you know, very appealing, at least to me anyway. And like I said, man, this is just a very sort of, you know, fruity, citrusy, fresh, really sort of musky and almost kind of aquatic style fragrance that really performs really good, man. So for this one, I would say this is going to be more like kind of like a summer type of scent. That's really the best time that I think that, you know, you would want to wear this. But it is absolutely strong enough for you to really wear at any point in time during the year, because it is a very strong scent, man. So if that type of scent appeals to you, like really, like I said, fruity, fresh, slightly kind of floral, slightly musky types of scents that have really good performance, then this is absolutely going to be one that you'll want to pick up. And again, this is Azure Royal from Ahmed Al-Maghribi. All right, next one is from Alexandria Fragrances, and this is their take on Louis Vuitton Symphony, and this is Alexandria's Orchestra. So Orchestra is going to be another like really fruity, fresh type of scent, fruity, fresh, and floral that has really good performance. So not saying that it smells anything like Ahmed Al-Maghribi's Azure Royal, but I do feel like the way that this fragrance sort of performs, it does kind of perform very similar to, you know, the way that Azure Royal does. Now, I do think that this is just ever so slightly more sort of heavier and denser than what Azure Royal is. That fragrance is, you know, it's definitely a little bit more on the lighter side than what this is. But this is still, you know, strong enough for you to be able to wear definitely in the summertime, you know, summer and spring. But I do think that this is strong enough for you to really wear all year round. Now, would I necessarily reach for this fragrance in the wintertime? Probably not. You know, I tend to reach for more kind of, you know, ambery, vanilla, you know, tobacco types of scents, you know, during that particular time of the year. But this is definitely strong enough for you to wear in the wintertime, even outside, in my opinion. And I think that this would still, you know, give you good projection and longevity. Now, at least in the summertime, this projects at least for, I mean, I think the last time that I wore this, I got at least about 3.5 hours or so of projection out of this. Like, this really does very good in terms of performance. And I mean, longevity was easily over 12 hours. So this is just a little 30 ml bottle. I think when I initially bought this, I kind of regretted not getting a 60 ml of this. But I think even with this being a 30 ml, this is still going to last me quite a long time, because you really don't need to spray that much of this on to really be able to get a good experience with it. So again, if you like that, really sort of, fruity, sort of, almost kind of fizzy sort of feel that you get from, Louis Vuitton Symphony, which I think that comes from some ginger that's added to the note breakdown of that fragrance. And then, again, in the dry down, this definitely kind of turns more so, it maintains the fruitiness, but it more kind of turns into like a musky sort of floral type of scent. Then, definitely this is one to look at. And again, this is Alexandria's Orchestra. All right, next on the list is from Byredo. This was like a love at first sniff for me when I first got a sample of this fragrance and was comparing it with, Paris Corner's inspiration of the fragrance. This is going to be Byredo's Bal D'Afrique. So this is just a very fresh, almost kind of like, it smells kind of like Sprite, you could say. Not necessarily as like fizzy, and it doesn't have as much of a bite as what, you would imagine Sprite to have. So it doesn't come off as fizzy as that. Maybe you could say a little bit more kind of syrupy, than what Sprite would be. But that's the best way to kind of describe this one, man. It has like a lot of, citruses in the top notes, along with black currant, which I believe the black currant is like what really kind of draws me into this one. And then as it starts to dry down, it does start to become a little bit more kind of like on the drier and earthier side from the vetiver that's in this fragrance. But this is one of my favorite Freshies, man, for sure. I definitely love to wear this one on really hot days. And I mean, I've seen people complain about the performance of this fragrance. I tend to get at least 7 to 8 hours or so of performance out of this fragrance whenever I wear it. So I don't know if that's just my skin or what, but the performance on this for, the type of scent profile that this is quite good, in terms of the longevity. And then, I mean, in terms of the projection, this also gives me very good projection, at least about an arm's length for like the first hour and a half, 2 hours. So the performance, at least on this, for me, is no slouch at all. And I definitely think that this fragrance is worth every penny that I paid for it. So again, that is Byredo's Bal D'Afrique. All right, so the next one is from Nishane, and this is Nishane's Wulong Cha. Now, from what I've seen, and I mean, I've only seen this on like message boards and stuff like that, so I guess take this, with a grain of salt, but I have seen anyway that Nishane is kind of pulling out of the US market. So, all of these Nishane fragrances may not be available, here at any of our sort of discounters or, just retail stores here soon. I don't know how true that is. I haven't spoken with anyone, directly from Nishane to really confirm that, but that is something, I guess you could say, like a rumor that's sort of floating around about Nishane fragrances. I know some of the Nishane fragrances that I've kind of looked for have kind of become a lot harder to find recently, and some of them have like drastically gone up in price. So that would kind of lead me to believe that these fragrances are probably going away from the US market. But this is one of my favorite from Nishane, and this is, again, Wulong Cha. So this is just really citrusy up top, citrusy and green as well. But you get, touches of fig with this. You get some spices like nutmeg as well. And then in the dry down, it just turns kind of like earthy, musky, while at the same time kind of maintaining, those sort of tart citruses. This is very, very good. It also has a really nice tea note in it as well. So, I mean, at least for me, it has a lot of elements or a lot of different types of, notes that I really love. So I really love, tea and fragrances. I really love fig in fragrances. And it also does have, really nice, citruses as well, man. So this is definitely one to be worn on really hot days as well. This does give you very good performance. It projects beast mode, at least for probably like the first 2.5 hours or so. And then, in terms of longevity, this is going to easily be, over 12 hours. Every Nishane that I've worn, the performance has been very, very good on these fragrances. So, even the fresher ones, they all perform, easily over 12 hours, man. So, if you're looking for a really nice, unique tea scent, and you can still find this one for a decent price, then I definitely recommend Nishane's Wulong Cha. All right, so next one on the list is from Paris Corner. This is from their Norstad collection, and this is Quatre. So this is like their sort of twist on Afternoon Swim. You're going to get a lot more mandarin orange from this. This does come off a little bit sweeter than what Afternoon Swim does, and it doesn't come off as sort of musky or heavy on ambroxan as what Afternoon Swim does, which I actually kind of like the way that this one comes across a little bit more than I do Afternoon Swim. Afternoon Swim to me is kind of like a mandarin orange sort of version of like Bulgari's Tiger. Like that's the way that I kind of look at that scent profile. Like instead of using grapefruit and instead of like the heavy sort of woody aspect of Tiger, you're getting more mandarin orange and other citruses, as well as kind of like a more sort of muskier feel instead of woods. To me, it's kind of just like more of sort of like a more unisex, maybe you could even say slightly feminine leaning sort of version of Tiger. Now this, you could say that this is also, on the feminine leaning side. To me, it smells pretty unisex. I think if you're someone who likes mandarin and you're someone who also likes really kind of like, lighter, fresher, summertime types of scents, then this is definitely going to be one that you'll enjoy for sure. Now, the way that the mandarin comes across in this is, it is a little bit more, in my opinion, like on the kind of syrupy side, as opposed to what it is in Afternoon Swim. But overall, man, I think they did a really, really good job, with their interpretation of the scent profile. And this is definitely one of the best ones out there. Not necessarily the closest, but in my opinion, it's one of the best. All right. Performance on this is also pretty good. I easily get over 8 hours every time I wear it. And in terms of the projection isn't like super beast mode. I do think that I definitely get better projection out of Afternoon Swim than what I do with this. But it does, linger on my skin, a pretty decent time. So definitely, if you're looking for a really good alternative to Afternoon Swim and an affordable one, I would say check out Paris Corner's Norstad Quatre. All right, so the next one on the list, this is going to be from the house of Zara, and this is a discontinued fragrance from them. This is Vibrant Leather Cologne. So Vibrant Leather Cologne is basically, it's kind of like their sort of twist on Dior Homme Cologne. So it does smell very similar to that, kind of smells like lemonade. But the main difference that you get with this fragrance is you get like a really heavy dose of ginger with this. And, like I mentioned before even in this video, I really love ginger in fragrances, and the way that they do it in this one, it really kind of adds like a sparkly sort of zingy element to this fragrance that I really love. So this also gives me pretty good longevity, at least now it does. Now, when I first bought this back in like 2019, the performance on this was not very good at all. I think I was getting like under 2 hours of performance with this fragrance, whereas now when I wear it, I easily get like 5.5 or so. So, the performance on this has definitely improved a lot. It's just a shame that this fragrance has been discontinued. I don't know how long they sold it before they finally discontinued it, but now if you go on like eBay, if you even see someone selling this, I think the last time that I saw someone selling this fragrance, it was for like $150 or something like that, 130. Like, it was way more than what I paid for it, which I think I probably paid about $30 or $40 maximum for this fragrance. But this is very good, man. If you like Dior Homme cologne style fragrances like that, then you are also gonna like this. And I would say if you can find this for really, I would say if you can find this for under 60, 70 or $60 or so, you know, and I mean, it's at least almost full, I would pick it up. I absolutely would, because I do think that it is worth it, even at that price. So again, this one is Zara's Vibrant Leather Cologne. All right, and then the last one on the list, it's like my favorite scent profile just in general, man. This is Louis Vuitton's Imagination. So this fragrance is just one of the freshest, most uplifting, brightest, you know, sort of fragrances that I've worn. And it's, at least so far, not a fragrance that I've become tired of at all. The other thing that I really love about this fragrance is it smells amazing to me, but it's not one of those fragrances where it smells amazing, but it only lasts like 3 hours. This easily lasts on me, you know, 10, 12 plus hours easily every time I wear it. And it's a fresh scent. It's a really fresh citrusy type of scent with neroli that kind of adds like a sort of soapy clean sort of aspect to it. But it also has like this warm sort of black tea and, you know, Ceylon cinnamon and ginger that you get in the dry down. It's just overall, it's one of my, you know, if not my favorite scent right now for sure. I've smelled tons of, you know, inspired fragrances of this fragrance. The Joe Milano Full House, I think, is like the best one just overall, you know, in terms of how it replicates this scent. But even that fragrance is not, you know, like a one-to-one to this scent. I think, you know, if you really want the full experience, I do think that you do kind of have to pay, you know, that $300+ to get a full bottle of this. So this is definitely a fragrance that, you know, I don't plan on ever selling because it is just that good to me. And like I said, again, it performs good and compliment factor on this is super high. So again, check out Louis Vuitton's Imagination if you're looking for one of the best sort of modern freshy types of scents out there. All right. And so that is the list, man. That's my top 10 list of my favorite sort of freshy scents that I have here in my collection. Definitely let me know what you all thought about this list. And let me know if you all have any or all of these fragrances, what you all think about them. All right. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.